Went from condos to Pop's house. On calls, now bus routes.
What's up, N2S family? So let's get to it. So we have ERICKA KIRK. Most of you know who ERICKA KIRK is, but for those who don't, ERICKA KIRK is the wife of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, he was assassinated a little while ago in Utah while holding an event, right? It was terrible. That was mainstream news. We talked about it here on this podcast. We had many discussions about it. I even had discussions about it when I brought people on. It was a very, very big topic. If you didn't know who Charlie Kirk was before he was assassinated, you for sure know who he is now, because he was talked about so much by both sides, Democrats, Republicans, because Charlie Kirk was a political figure, but he was also very, very much into his faith, right? And that's something that ERICKA has shown a lot, even since his passing. So you could tell what rooted him, right? So ERICKA KIRK was recently on the Megyn Kelly show, and she was asked a really good question. Megyn asked her, do you sometimes get angry with God? Because we have to understand something. This is a wife and a mother who lost her husband, her foundation, the head of the household. She will no longer ever see him again. And she have to raise 2 kids by herself. Of course, I'm sure she have family, loved ones who's going to be there to help out. But in her household, she have to raise them alone as a single mother. So I don't think that was a bad question. And I want to play exactly what ERICKA KIRK had to say, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. So let's get to it.
You touched on it earlier, but one of the reactions I have to hearing that is like, I get angry. How can that man have been taken? How he was all goodness. The left who are bastardizing his memory have no idea what they're talking about. Charlie was all goodness. I know we can't understand God's plan, but have you had bouts of anger? You know, I think about what the kids are going to miss, what you got gypped out of, what poor Charlie now is going to miss, and I feel angry. And sadness, of course, obviously, but yes, against the accused shooter, but just, I know you don't ever feel angry against God, but I kind of do. You know? I
understand.
How do you make sense of that? And do you have any anger when you think about it? Not towards the Lord, but in general.
The enemy would love for me to be angry. He would love it. He would love it. Because it would distract me from building what Charlie entrusted to me, raising our babies, turning point, being there for the team, being there for what the future holds. And if I had any amount of anger in my heart and spirit, the Lord would not be able to use me. And every single day, just how Charlie did, stood on stage, he would say, "Here I am, Lord, use me." And if I had that anger in my heart, that foothold from the enemy, he wouldn't be able to.
That was deep. That was deep. She said some very, very important things. You know, that's exactly what the enemy would want. You know, the devil would want us to be angry with God. We're falling right into what he wants if we allow the devil to let us become angry with God. You know, I don't know if you all are familiar with the story of Job, but this is the same thing that Job went through. Job went through loss after loss. He lost his entire family. And the devil was trying hard to get Job to come over to his side, because God didn't believe that Job would go towards the devil's side. That's why God said, you cannot physically take him off this earth. He's protected, right? But you could do anything to him that don't lead to his death, right? You could take his family, mess with his health, whatever he have. And that's what the devil did. But Job never lost faith, right? I want to tell you all a little story. I like to relate things to my own life, but it's never an easy story to tell. But I'll start it by saying this. I in no way, shape, or form understand what ERICKA KIRK is going through after losing her husband, or like a Vanessa Bryant, is going through after she lost her husband. I have no understanding of that. You lost your significant other, and you all have children with these men. The same thing would be for a man who loses his wife. I can't understand that, because that's your other half, right? But I do know what it feels like to lose someone who is one of the most important people in your life. And that was for me, that was my Uncle Philip, who was like a brother, who was like a father figure, who was an uncle. At that time in my life, he was everything to me in my life. I seen him every day. Was about to move in with him. We wrote together because we did music together. So we wrote every day together. We laughed together. We argued a little bit together. He would pick me up from school almost every other day. We were locked in, super, super close. At that time, he was everything to me. And when I found out that he lost his life, it's not that I blame God, because I was young at this time. I was like 18. So it's not that I was thinking to blame God, but I didn't care about anything. I said, hey, if I lose my life today, whatever, I don't care. So I was out there just moving the wrong way. That's when I started getting into, eventually selling drugs and being more in the streets, taking risks, taking chances, not caring if it cost me my life. I didn't care. So it's easy to lose structure and lose a sense of stability and awareness and even sustainability when it comes down to your presence on this earth. It's easy to lose all of those things that make sense. Discipline, all of that. It's easy to lose all of those things that were important to you before that happened, right? It's hard to stay faithful, to stay connected to God, to stay disciplined, to stay mentally checked in. It's hard to do that. So when you look at ERICKA KIRK talk about this, and she's letting you know, I'm not finna give the devil what he wants. Even though if she did say, I'm angry with God, I'm mad, you know how many people, even Christians too, would still support her and say, that's a tough one, but we still support you because we understand. I get it. You lost your husband. You know how many people would still support her? But you could tell she's so strong in her faith right now. She's not budging. And she's like, I'm not giving the devil what he wants. I'm going to stay locked in with God. I'm going to trust in the Lord with all of my heart, even if my understanding is different. I'm going to forgive the killer, even if I want to do something different. I'm going to let the killer know I forgive him, even if I want to really say something different. She's standing tall in the faith. And that's something I gotta say, it's amazing, man. It's amazing because if she did something different, which would show her anger, she would still get the same support. Because she just lost her husband. And she's now a single mother, a widower. Because someone decided to assassinate him. With all of that being said, she's still standing 10 toes down, standing tall, saying, I'm not giving the devil what he wants. Wow. That's a woman of God right there. That's a woman of God right there. So I think it was amazing to see her speak on this. And just to see how she stands bold and firm in the faith. It should be a motivation to everyone out there who go through ups and downs to see, wow, if this woman could stay bold and stand firm in the faith and not waver from left to right, side to side, after losing her husband, then why I can't after what I just went through? I just lost my job. Why am I over here saying, why God, why me? I just got my car repoed. Why am I sitting here saying, why God, why me? I just got that first eviction notice. Why am I saying, why God, why me? When you have this individual who lost their husband and sitting here and saying, I'm still not angry with God. I'm not giving the devil what he wants. Come on. God allows certain things in life to happen to show all of us the power of God. When it's right there in our face, we have to recognize it.
I had to